So today we're going to pollinate some Lilikoi flowers. This is also known as passion flower. There's a couple different varieties here in Hawaii, especially on this farm. We tend to grow the kind called Lilikoi. It's got a yellow fruit on the outside and a little bit more tart, a bit like lemon. So less sweet than the passion flower, but people really like that flavor. Now, passion flower is interesting in that it is self-sterile. So if you want your passion flower to grow really, really big fruit, you have to have a pollinator. And here in Hawaii, we only have a few varieties of pollinators, and right now the only one that can pollinate this flower is the carpenter bee, and that's because the pollen is so heavy. Regular bees, like honeybees, they can't pick up that pollen and move it. So if you don't have carpenter bees around, or you want really, really big fruit, like we've got some growing in here, they're getting kind of big. Like this is a pretty good size. Sometimes we can get bigger. But if you want really big fruit and a lot of fruit and consistent fruit, you can do hand pollination. And what you do is, on the parts of the flower, you have your petals on the outside. Your corona of filaments is what this little eyelash ring is. The anther holds the little pollen pads, like this one right here. Got all this pollen on the bottom. And then the stigma, which is at the top here, at the top of the pistil, is where you would put the pollen. So you get a little underside, kind of like a little velvet cushion. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the pollen from one flower, which I picked from another plant, and put it on the bottom here. So I'm going to do that with the plants I have over here. And I got little flowers. I'm going to pollinate. You can use like one pollen pad per flower, or use like one pad per spot that you're pollinating, but it really depends on what you want. But I find the more pollen you put on the flower, the better it's going to pollinate and the more fruit you have. So it's just a really good quick tip. Same thing can be applied to a lot of different kinds of plants. Squashes grown in a greenhouse, all sorts of stuff. If you have problems with pollination, sometimes you just have to give it a hand.